run the world with this bird on my feet. Next I pitch the hood. Tell them bring them grills out. Go and put them nets out. Tell them bring the kids out. I'm not a rapper. This is what I live about. You hear me spit it on the record. That is what I live about. No acting. This is what they real about. They say they want that grill back. It's time to bring that grill. Ow. Yeah, my hood, they proud of it.
What's up? This your boy Levelhead. This is the Live and Level Gamers Podcast, episode 113. And I got my boy with me. Go ahead, bro. Introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody, man? It's your boy Keith, ready to get in with these topics tonight. Talk about these video games and fellowship.
Yeah, man, we back, man. Man, we didn't get a chance to get up with Jedi Knight this past Sunday, dude. I was hoping to get up with him, but all of us end up getting pulled to different things. It was like, man, I end up having to go pick up my brother-in-law who had a breakdown on the highway. So he was coming our way to my house. I had to go pick him up. And then I think you said you couldn't make it because you was with your family. And everybody was just like, it was just crazy. But end up Jedi Knight couldn't make it. He was spending time with his family. So
yeah, I was coming back from Ohio.
Yeah. So we didn't get a chance to get up this past Sunday, but hopefully soon, man, we'll be able to get up with Jedi Knight. But right now it's just me and you. Hopefully D2K jump in. And K-Bun 20 said he couldn't make it tonight. He's on some other stuff at the moment. But and we're gonna talk about him. I told him we're gonna talk about him at the beginning of the show. But before we get in, well, let's talk about K-Bum. Man, K-Bum is dropping the ball, man. K-Bum is literally dropping the ball. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. He's leaving us hanging. We've been waiting on him to give us his feedback, his thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn. The game came out at the top of the year, and this dude has yet to play it. And he's talking about Madden, the next Madden coming out already. And we sit here like, can we just get an update, some type of, it look into how Horizon Zero Dawn is? I'm like, I'm gonna have to go buy it now. I'm just gonna have to buy it because K-Bum ain't doing us no good, man. What you think? What's going on with K-Bum?
I don't know, man. He over here talking about some 77 hours in Witcher. I'm like, man, come on, bro. Right.
I'm looking at those 77 hours. Bro, I put 100 some hours in Zelda and ain't done with it yet. Anyway, shouts out to K-Bun 20. We told him we was gonna roast him at the top of the show. Man, put in that Horizon, man. Take out that Overwatch. Take out that Madden. Don't go get the new Madden. Just keep playing the same Madden you got. You good. Take that Horizon out the package. Put it in your PlayStation 4 and play it. At least give it 20 minutes of some type of gameplay so we can ask you some questions about the game, K-Bum. I mean, come on, dude. That's like us having Odyssey, and me and you don't ever put it in, Keith. And every time we come, how's that Odyssey? How's that Mario? Oh, man, right now I'm still playing that Splatoon, man. I'm still on that Splatoon. Like, K-Bum, take Overwatch out to PlayStation 4, dude. Put in Horizon Zero Dawn. We want to hear how it plays.
Yeah, we're waiting, bro. We're waiting.
We've been waiting for a good minute, man. I think Horizon came out February?
It's like February 20 something. It's February something.
Yeah, this dude is taking forever and a day. I told him we're gonna have an eclipse, a total eclipse. Thanksgiving gonna come, Christmas gonna pass, and this dude's still gonna be talking about, man, I just ain't got enough time in the day, man. You would, K-Bum, if you take out Overwatch. Just take a break from Overwatch, dude. You I'm pretty sure this dude got like 200 something hours in Overwatch by now.
Yeah, he said 93.
He only got 93 hours in Overwatch?
Yeah, he probably gonna start playing Lawbreakers.
Yeah, he probably will. K-Bum is a trip. K-Bum, you a trip. And I hope you listening. Your boy said you a trip, man. But anyway, welcome to the Live and Level Gamers Podcast. It's just me and Mr. Norris, Mr. Mufasa himself. And let's get into what we've been gaming on, and then we get into these topics. So what you been gaming on, man? We know what K-Bum been gaming on, but what you been gaming on?
Splatoon. Still gaming on it. Still playing.
What's your level?
I'm still at 17.
I'm almost gonna catch you. I'm at 15. I went up 2 levels since the last time we talked because you put fire under my behind, man. I was like, this dude is at 17. So you went up another level since the last time we talked then because you was at 16.
Hey, the best time to play is when you get them tickets, man. Get those tickets and just go in there and start killing everybody. Well, not killing, you know what I mean.
Yeah, splatting, but it's killing. It's temporary death, you know. You got to respawn, so you was knocked out the turf. What now? Okay, you saying the tickets? Maybe okay. Explain the tickets because I don't know if I'm really going to. Is this where you go and play? What is there? Salmon Run, or is this the main game?
All right. So the first time I got one, I got it in the main game, and I think I've been getting them in Salmon Run because the better you do, the more rewards you get in Salmon Run. You see at the bottom of the screen, there's like this little thing at the bottom, like this little line, and it's saying how many points you can get into the next such and such. And I think I got a few in Salmon Run because I hadn't seen any more in the single player. And you turn them in at the little food truck. And once you go to the food truck, you eat it, and it'll give you bonus points for playing in the turf war and everything else, so you can level up a little bit faster. You can do experience points. You can do money. You can get money faster. And then there's another screen where you can go over and you get these drinks, and the drinks level up your outfits. I think.
Okay. Because I went and talked to this dude, this spiky head little dude with one eye, and I bought some extra power up slots for a few of my gear, like my shoes and my hat and my I think it's your shoes, your hat, and your shirt. And I brought some extra level up spots. But I went and played Salmon Run, and man, that's crazy. We got to talk about this, Keith. You sent me an invite from the app on Nintendo, and bruh, I didn't get it. I never saw it, and I don't know if it showed up on my Switch to alert me that you were trying to get me to come into a game. And dude, they gotta fix this, dude. They gotta get that together because I feel like you sent me like 3 invites, and not only you, a few other cats have invited me to play Salmon Run or play Turf War or whatever, and when I get it, it's like 2 days later, I've noticed that I was invited to something. It's like, man, this ain't working.
You check your settings.
Maybe I do need to check my settings, man. But that app takes over my phone, literally like shuts everything else out. Almost like, or it doesn't shut it down, but it makes it run rough. Like if I open up that Nintendo app, it makes all my other apps, when I close it, run rough. I don't know if you ever noticed that with your phone, but it does mine like that.
I got mine on push notifications.
Okay.
I don't know who you with. I'm with AT&T.
I'm with Samsung.
The service provider.
Oh, AT&T. I'm with AT&T.
Oh, you should be able to do push notifications then.
Yeah, I got it on there, but I don't I get notifications for everything else. I get the alert, I get the little chime, whatever. But when you was invited, I never got anything. I didn't hear nothing unless and my phone was right there with me. So I never saw it. And I saw you on the game because we was playing. You jumped into one of my games, and I ended up jumping out to change some of my gear. And I could never, I don't know if you went to the Salmon Run or whatever, but I noticed later on that night that you had invited me like 3-4 times. I had to hit you up on Google Hangout and let you know I didn't get it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I jumped in Salmon Run. I was like, I don't know if he played it yet. I want to come on there and, but I ended up playing with some randoms.
I did too. I went over there and played. I put in a good hour on Salmon Run. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I just feel like, I don't know, Nintendo needs to address some of the aspects of this app, man. I ain't trying to throw no huge shade at it, but it definitely, I'll put it like this. I haven't used it yet. I have yet to use the app and the voice chat or anything during the actual game.
Me either.
So that, and I bet you we not unique. I bet there's a whole lot of other folks who haven't used it as well. So, but anyway, I interrupted you. Said you've been playing Splatoon. Go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I've been playing Splatoon. I've been looking at my my Steam account, trying to look at this back catalog. Got Resident Evil, Revelations 2. I got some other stuff on the back. I got the Evil Within on the back catalog or backlog.
Now what's though for PC?
Yeah, on Steam.
I was gonna say because that Resident Evil 2 coming to the Switch, and I ain't think it was out yet. I'm like, what hookup you got, kid? Let a brother in, man.
and I'm not redipping.
No, I don't blame you. Ain't no point in redipping. But see, I didn't buy the first one for the 3DS, nor did I buy the one for the Wii U. So if it's on one disc, that's what. Or I hope it come in one package. I might end up copping that. What else? So you said that's all you've been gaming on the Splatoon. Well, you kind of sound like me because that's actually the last thing I gamed on.
Yeah,
that's the last thing I gamed on was Splatoon. Trying to catch up with you and others. I don't want to be sitting around and getting, because my day gets kind of hectic and filled with other stuff, other activities. If it ain't my son with football, if it ain't my church, if it ain't my twins and trying to help my wife with them, and she would probably say I don't help enough. It didn't work. I just don't get a chance to turn the Switch on like I want to, but I tried to jump on over the weekend because you said, man, when you said you was at 16, it hurt my heart. I was like, wait a minute, no. I was like, no, I guess I ain't been playing because we went out of town. I took it with me, but I'll be honest, man, it was dope. I enjoyed taking it with me. I got about 3 hours in on it, and my cousin, my second cousin, which went with us with my son. He played it all the way back. He played Mario Kart all the way back from Santa Claus, Indiana, to Missouri, and so I got a chance to really see the appeal of the Switch and what the Switch actually brings again. And I was like, this is my first time really taking it out of town with me. But because where we was and what we were doing, going to a holiday world and all that, it just really wasn't any time to really sit down and get on the Switch and play. When we get back to the hotel, by the time we got back, it was like 11, 12 o'clock. We was tired. So, but hopefully next time we go on a family trip, I'm gonna pack it up, man, and really see what it's about on the road and get a chance to get that real hybrid portable experience. I did it at the barbershop, but I really don't never undock it. So rarely do I undock it. I don't know about you, but how do you play Splatoon? Do you play it in the dock or undock?
Well, let me address this first. It's funny you say that because I took my Switch with me to Ohio this past weekend, and I didn't even touch it. It's like it was cool that it was there, but I really didn't even care. Plus, I had to get my sister-in-law's Wi-Fi, and I didn't even feel like bothering her because she was busy with stuff. So, I play my Splatoon on the TV. With my Pro controller.
Right.
Now I did play one night. I think me and my wife, we was watching a movie, and I kind of lost interest a little bit, so I pulled it out and played it in handheld mode. And I had a problem. I don't know if anybody else had this problem or if this is a problem Nintendo needs to address. So I'm playing it in handheld mode. I'm playing, having fun, killing people, yada yada yada. She ends up going to bed. She goes back to the back room. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm finna put it on the TV. I slid it in the dock, and then I tried to turn on my Pro controller, and it wouldn't work. I had to pull it back out and switch it. I forgot how I did it, but it wasn't seamless. Like when I docked it, I didn't just pick up the Pro controller and start playing. I had to turn it from using the Joy-Cons to using the Pro controller, and it was a little frustrating.
I won't say I've experienced what you just described, but when I put it in the dock, let's say I had it out the dock and I'm playing it in the handheld mode. And this doesn't happen in tabletop, but handheld when the two Joy-Cons are attached to the actual Switch. When I go back to put it in the dock, I can turn on my Pro controller and get back to the main menu, but I got to go into the settings and actually change it over from the Joy-Cons to the Pro controller before it allows me to actually manipulate and take advantage of the actual game. So
yeah, that's what happened. That's what I had to do.
Oh yeah, I had that experience, but it wasn't seamless from putting it into the dock. And like I said, I got immediate control. I just couldn't actually play the game. I had to go back to the main menu, go into the controller settings, and then hit I think it's either L and R or something like that to get it to register the Pro controller, then go back out into the game. I mean, it's kind of an inconvenience. I didn't trip because you got to do the same thing with the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One when the controller is our guests want to come in. You got to go all the way out, go let them come in on the guest, do all this weird stuff just to let them play with you. I mean, one time with the PlayStation 4, it took me almost about 20 minutes to figure out how to get 2-player in Tekken with my son. We were sitting there like it would, because he couldn't just turn the controller on and go to 2-player. You got to go into the settings. He got to come in as a guest, has to sign in, is going to ask him all these questions. It's like, dude, just let us play. I don't know, man. I think modern gaming is getting way too convoluted with nonsense that don't matter. Like, if back in the day on the Nintendo or Genesis or the early PlayStations or even the early Xboxes, you just hit the controller, turn them on, and push 2-player, and there you go.
Right.
Now it's like, do you want to sign in? Do you want to use the internet? Are you signing in under this? Like, dude, do we got to go through this quiz to play 2-player?
You want to use Bluetooth 4.0 or 4.5? What?
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, let us in the game. So, but yeah, okay. So for me, I've been playing Splatoon. The last time I played, I was at level either 12 or 13. Now I'm up to 15, about to cross over to 16. But let me ask you this, man. Since it's just me and you, we can kind of really talk more in depth on this because we just us. So, and we don't two that got Splatoon in the podcast. What do you think about the Splatfest, man? The ketchup versus marinades. Did you feel kind of? Oh, first of all, let me ask you, what did you choose? Was it mayo? And I'm pretty sure you didn't. Black folks ain't never.
Is it a black joke?
Yeah, you know we ain't choosing no mayo. So let me ask: did you choose mayo or ketchup?
I chose ketchup, but believe it or not, I didn't even play.
Oh, you didn't get a chance to play?
I had a chance. I just didn't. I was like, I don't even feel like it.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't feel like going to get her Wi-Fi.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You was out of town that weekend. Yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Set it up how you want to.
No, I was going to say, I actually played, and I got some issues with the situation of the Splatfest. And I feel like, what I've been noticing, there's been a lot of complaints. Ketchup, far as folks who sided with the ketchup side, it was like 74% to like 32 or 40, something like that. So it was heavily lopsided. And what I noticed was a lot of times it was ketchup on ketchup. So you didn't ever. What's up, D2K? You never. Like, there was rarely times that I actually played a team that was mayo. And so at the end of the Splatfest, ketchup won the votes. But as far as the matches, mayo won all the matches. But a lot of those matches that I fought were against ketchup players, so they never counted. So a lot of folks were complaining about the fact that maybe had mayo played more, maybe the mayo didn't play as good a competition because a lot of times ketchup was facing against other ketchup teams and stuff like that. So they end up winning. But I was wondering how will Nintendo be able to address that if most of the people are choosing one item over the next, like if ice cream and cake. I don't know what the how people lean, like if cake highly outranked, or most folks chose cake over ice cream, then that means a lot of cake people will fight other people that chose cake, and you won't ever really face off against ice cream, and those are the only matches that count. So I found myself like battle after battle being ketchup, and then every now and again it'd be a mayo battle, then ketchup, mayo, and some of those we were losing. But you don't get a chance to fight them, but until another 4 or 5 games, you might get a mayo match, and you might be matched up with people that wasn't good that time, and you lose again. So I feel like it wasn't really balanced enough to really get a fair shake on who really would have won those back and forths.
I mean, it wasn't balanced, but at the same time, if Nintendo try to intervene, you're taking away people's choices. So if more people catch up, I mean, it is what it is. What they could do, and like I said, this is going to take away people's choices, but they can limit it to like the first 200 people who choose such and such, then that one is locked until the other team is chosen up to 200. Then reopen it, and then I don't know. Maybe they can do it. They can do it like that. That way it would balance out. But at the same time, you're limited in my choice. What if I don't want the other option? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
I don't know how they can do it.
Yeah. So yeah, and I also feel like they need to open up Salmon Run to whenever you want to do it. It shouldn't be based around schedule. Then whenever they choose it, I don't understand that. And when I finally got a chance to play Salmon Run, I almost enjoyed it equally as I did Turf War. Now I haven't played all the other like Rainmaker and what is that? What is the other couple of
Rainmaker, Tower Control,
and it's another one.
Rainmaker, Tower Control.
Where you taking the item? Is that Rainmaker?
That's Rainmaker.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat.
Yeah, save us right now.
Tower Control, and then it's like the things where it's blocked off. What is it called?
You got Rainmaker, Tower Control, and it's territory, something like that.
That's what it is, but it's called something else.
Y'all ain't helping us down here.
Splat Zone.
Oh, Splat Zone. Okay, yeah.
What it is, yeah, Splat Zone.
So yeah, man. So I haven't really even played any of those. I haven't even played single player. It's just been Turf War and the other day Salmon Run. So I played that. What else have I played? What else have I played?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's about it. That's it. So since D2K is here, man, what you been gaming on, bro?
What's up, D2?
What's going on? Not a whole lot. I actually played a little bit of that Rise, Son of Rome, because Level was talking about it last week, and it was free, so I said I might as well download and see what this is all about. And it's actually kind of cool game. I mean, this actually does look amazing for a launch title, for the Xbox One. And I could see the reasons why it didn't work out too well, because there are some things wrong with it mechanically. But for a person like me, stuff like that doesn't bother me. Nobody's perfect. Not going to have a perfect game when everything is perfect. It's good enough. It's something that I'm definitely going to wind up playing all the way through to the end when I get some free time.
Okay. So. Yeah, man. I wish Crytek wouldn't. I don't know. Did Crytek sell or go out? Like they are no longer in existence, right?
I think they sold their the engine, didn't they?
They sold. Okay, so they sold the Crytek engine. Yeah. Yeah, they the one made that game, and like you said, DK, the mechanics is kind of rough, kind of stiff, but just visually, that game holds up well. That game still looks good 4 years later. And but yeah, man. So what about the mechanics? What did you notice that you didn't care for?
I mean, it wasn't anything that was egregious. It was just little things like I can't even really think of it right off top. It was just certain little things like that felt kind of weird, that type of thing. It wasn't like, wow, that's really bad. It was just little things that kind of throw the whole equilibrium off when you're fighting, when you're trying to do your combos and stuff. And when you really get into it, if some little thing throws you off, that can throw you in the weird space, and then you got to kind of recollect yourself. And you got people attacking you. You don't really have time to do that. So,
Yeah, the camera. I don't think the camera really worked well with the action, and the character or the protagonist that you're fighting was real stiff at times. So when you're trying to react to or time the blocks and different things like that, if you have multiple enemies fighting you, he didn't control swift enough to sometimes fight both. And it took a long time to do his animations. I don't know if you noticed that. Like,
yeah, I didn't know.
His animations took a while to go through the full motion of the animation. And like I said, it looks good.
They wanted to go more for ambiance and aesthetics than they did for actual functionality and gameplay. They wanted to feel like you're playing a movie, which it does feel like you're playing a movie. It does like you're playing like the 300 or something like that. But You know, I mean, if it's probably a game that probably could have used a couple more years in development, then it probably would have been perfect, and it probably would have been a genre-defining game. But
yeah. Well, from what I understand, it really went from being a tech demo, and they turned the tech demo into an actual game. It was just really to show off the capability of the Xbox, and it went from that to an actual game. I don't think it was originally supposed to be a game. I don't know if Keith knows anything about that. I might look that up. But if my memory serves me correct, that game really wasn't supposed to be a game. It was supposed to be like a tech demo or something like that to show off what it could do. And
well, if that's true, then I take back all of the criticisms I said about it, because if it started off as a tech demo and they built it into a game and it wasn't something that they actually were planning ahead of time, that's pretty damn amazing.
That's what I remember. Now I might not have that fully right, but it's something like in that sense that it wasn't really supposed to be anything. You know how at the beginning of all those systems they show us a whole lot of stuff like the Zelda tech demo for the Wii U or the Bird demo.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah, but so yeah, if they down in the comment section, if y'all know anything about Rise Son of Rome's, let me know if I was right on that. I think I am. That originally started out just being like a tech demo. Crytek was trying to show off, and they end up actually turning into a game. So, but when you go from something like God of War and a Bayonetta or Devils May Cry, it is kind of stiff, you know. Rise Son of Rome, but then there's other plus aspects to it that I thought that it might have done better than the God of Wars and other games. Hence why God of War has changed. After you see Rise Son of Rome, the visuals make you look at God of War a lot different. So, but now God of War looks more like Rise Son of Rome, in my opinion. But anyway. So anyway, that was what you've been gaming on. So we got Mr. D2K in there. What else you been on, man? We didn't get a chance to just chop it up with you at the beginning before we jump into these topics. Anything else going on?
No, nothing else.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into these topics, and I want to hit this first one and I'm glad you showed up, D2K, because I know you have a lot of input on this. Keith brought up a real good thought in a private conversation we was having, you know, how we always do on Google Hangout, just fussing and joning and clowning each other all through the week. And Keith made a random statement that I thought was very intriguing. He said, and I'll let you say what you said, Keith. What did you say?
Okay, what did I say? I was basically saying when you look back over like the lifespan of Nintendo and Rare, did Rare basically outdo Nintendo on their own platforms? I think that's right. I'm actually trying to.
Yeah, I'm going back to it. I'm going to what you actually said. But that's basically what you said. You said Nintendo versus Rare.
Oh, I know that. There it is.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Looking back, I think a lot of people enjoy Rare more than they gave them credit, and that's where it basically. Oh no, Nintendo versus Rare. I think this is. Let me start reading and read it first before I read it out.
It says Nintendo versus Rare. I think on a technical level, Rare was simply masters of gaming over Nintendo.
Yeah.
You asked my thought. And I said, once I thought about it, I was like, man, I won't go that far, but it is a conversation worth having. And when I think about what Rare offered on both the N64 and I think and maybe one or two games on the GameCube, if I'm not mistaken. What games did they? They had
Star Fox and
Star Fox Adventures.
Star Fox Adventures. Yeah, I think that was it before they sold. But you look at what they offered on the N64: Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64.
Banjo.
I said Banjo. Gemini. What's the full name of that game?
Jet Force Gemini.
Jet Force Gemini. Diddy Kong Racing.
Well, they didn't have Donkey Kong Racing. That was supposed to be for the GameCube before the sale happened, and that project kind of fell out.
And then I say Donkey Kong Racing. I meant to say Donkey Kong 64 and Diddy Kong Racing. I don't know why I said Donkey Kong. They also made on the Super NES, they made all the Donkey Kong 2D games, the side scrollers.
Right.
What else did they made on the Super NES?
Well, you're forgetting about on the SNES and the N64, Killer Instinct.
Ooh. Killer Instinct. There you go.
Blast Corps.
In Blast Corps, yes.
Blast Corps. Let me go to let's Google it and I can find all of the game. But when you start looking at what Rare had and the quality of what Rare had, the question can be levied and asked: Did they do Nintendo better than Nintendo?
Wait, you did say GoldenEye, didn't you?
Yeah, nope, I didn't say GoldenEye. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. Conker's Bad Furry Day. I got it up right now. Battletoads at 91. Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. Konami. Cameo. Is that how you say it?
No, that was on the
they
Xbox.
Got moved
That's Xbox. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
It's supposed to be on the GameCube though.
Yeah.
There's video. I think there's video of it.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, Pro-Am Racing, RC Pro-Am.
Yeah, classic RC Pro-Am. All the LJN wrestling games like WrestleMania Challenge, WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge. It's all made by Rare. Iron
Jordan
Sword.
Bird.
Jordan. Yep.
WrestleMania, WWE WrestleMania.
The Wizard and Warriors 1, 2, and 3. I like 2 was my favorite. Yeah, they did a lot of stuff.
What's LGN?
Wow, I didn't even know they did all that.
LGN was a subsidiary of Acclaim, I think.
I see it.
Yeah.
So D2K, is there an argument that could be made that Rare did Nintendo better than Nintendo?
It's kind of a loaded question because what is the definition of what Nintendo? What is Nintendo?
Okay. When I think of Nintendo, I think of platformers, creative juggles and controls, tight platforming controls, colorfulness, wacky, zany, but yet and still alluring and it pulls you in. Maybe not story driven, but when it comes to gameplay, tight controls, decent graphics, if not superb graphics at times, but maybe not from a technical sense, but well, technically they're good, but artistically, the animations are always solid and pretty good. Nintendo always, to me, does all those type of things well.
Well, based off of what you said, then the answer would be no.
Okay.
Because those are not the things that Rare really exemplified. Rare was about taking the direction of where Nintendo needed to go. If you think about the Donkey Kong Country games, these are games that are giving you rendered graphics on the 16-bit console. You didn't see that before. With Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 and Killer Instinct, you're seeing graphics that you never thought you would ever see on a 16-bit console. When you saw the arcade version of Killer Instinct, you saw how beautiful that game looked and seeing the full motion video displays and everything compared to what you saw before with the polygon games like Virtua Fighter and Tekken. And people are like, man, this looks way better. This looks leagues better than this. And the fact that you had the tie-in or the connection with Silicon Graphics, which were the people who are making a lot of the CGI footage in Jurassic Park and Terminator and some of the movies like that.
Didn't they make Turok? No, they didn't make Turok. They didn't make.
No, they didn't. That was. But they were definitely pushing the envelope in terms of graphics and technical prowess, and in terms of gameplay. I've always said that what multiplayer is and what it's become really started on the N64.
And a lot of that has to do with GoldenEye and Perfect Dark in terms of not just the multiplayer, but the deathmatch aspect of multiplayer first-person shooters really became popular. It existed on other games on the PC, with Unreal and Quake and some other stuff that was out around that time, but it was mainly, as far as consoles are concerned, it was GoldenEye and Perfect Dark that really got people interested in doing this, and then Halo came and just blew the doors off and took it to the moon after that. But the Genesis was on the N64, I believe, and these are the type of things that Nintendo was really thinking about that much. Now you did have the little multiplayer mode in Star Fox 64, which was fun, but it was very limited in what you could do in that little multiplayer. They tried to do it again in Star Fox Assault for the GameCube, but it just didn't. Yeah. But anyway, but they basically said, this is what you should be doing, Nintendo. Follow our lead. But Nintendo was like, well, we don't need to follow your lead. We own you, so we'll just let you do what you do, and we'll do what we do, and we'll make all the money. So that's pretty much the way that it was. So I don't think they outdid Nintendo. I just thought that they showed what Nintendo could be if Nintendo would look at all avenues instead of just staying in their comfort zone.
Okay. Keith?
Well, I think I want to lean to say that they did, and not on a technical level as D2K broke down, but on a level, let's just use the N64 for instance. When you say, man, the N64 was a great console, one of the first things people bring up are their memories of GoldenEye, the Perfect Darks, and it's a bunch of rare games. Not rare games, but rare games. Y'all feel me? Rareware. Yeah. It's mainly the rare games that people talk mostly about. And I mean, of course, you get your Mario 64s and your Ocarina of Times, but most of the time it's those rare games that people are talking about. And in my opinion, a lot of the times they did those platformers a little bit. Well, no, I take that back. I wasn't a Banjo fan. But a lot of people chose Banjo over Mario 64. And like D2K said, the stuff that they were doing on the 16-bit console was like light years ahead of what they were doing. Like what Nintendo wanted to do with Star Fox, I'm pretty sure if Rare had taken Star Fox, they could have did that a whole lot better than what Nintendo was doing with it. But yeah, I think they did, in my opinion.
And another thing is that they kind of got interfered with what Rare really wanted to do, because like I said before, Rare was working on Donkey Kong Racing, and it was going to be pretty cool because instead of racing on actual go-karts, you're racing on animals. And one of the things that I saw which was really cool is that you're racing on like these wasps or yellow jackets. You're flying through the forest, and it was very similar to that of the speeder bikes in the speeder bike scene from Return of the Jedi. And I said, this would be lit if they actually did this, but it never happened. And then with Star Fox Adventures, a lot of people throw shade at that game, and rightfully so, but that game was supposed to be a game called Dinosaur Planet that had absolutely nothing to do with Star Fox. And Nintendo said, no, we want to shoehorn Star Fox into this. And it basically took the game in a direction it had no business going. And it kind of killed what could have been a brand new franchise for Nintendo, before it had a chance to even start.
Yeah, when you go back and look at that game, anybody who's pretty young or whatever and don't know anything about that, what was it called, Dinosaur Planet?
Yeah, Dinosaur Planet.
You go back and look at that game, and you look at how it was set up. That game was like what Zelda would have been with animals. Like it was going down that path, and I personally feel like Nintendo intervened because it was leaning toward a Zelda style type of game.
And it still wound up being a Zelda type. Star Fox Adventure was basically Star Fox in a Zelda game. That's what it was.
Sort of, kind of, but they threw in the fighter missions and stuff too, though.
Yeah. That part kind of took you out of that. But when you played the main story, it felt like you was playing a very polished Zelda game. Let me ask this though, and I'm gonna lean towards no, they didn't. Not across the board. But on certain games, they did. That's how I would say it. Not across the board did they out Nintendo, but on certain titles, I think they did. So let's look at it like this.
What titles are those, by the way?
To me, I think Star Fox, if they wouldn't have messed up and added Star Fox to that Dinosaur Planet game, I think that would have outdid Nintendo in a lot of ways, because when you look at the graphic aspect of Star Fox, you look at some of the elements they were trying to do, and they had to shoehorn Star Fox onto that, and it still wasn't a bad. I think people throw a lot of hate towards that game, and that game really wasn't that bad. It was just hard. It was a hard game.
There really wasn't anything wrong with the game itself. It's just that people didn't want that for Star Fox.
Right. That's what I mean. They didn't. So adding Star Fox on there, and people wanted Star Fox 64, not this Star Fox. That hurt it, and I think that whole narrative, that whole situation, kind of ruined the game and made it appear to be not as good as it was. When I played that game, man, there was a lot of stuff in that game that was just, for us, just graphically, like you said, D2K. I remember them showing the hair and how Star Fox, you can see, like they talk about today, the different grains of hair. When they was talking about that back then, and the distance, draw distance that they had figured out how to do, and this was all on the game, on what was that, the GameCube. Yeah. Like the draw distance and all the stuff that they was doing, and the moves and even the storyline, until you got to the end and found out that it was Andross. I didn't like that, but it was a good game, and you had a companion in one of the little dinosaurs. Well, I don't know what type of dinosaur they would call that. But anyway, you had him as a companion, and you had to work back and forth between him and Star Fox, and then. The only part I didn't like was the flying parts that they shoehorned in. That I liked them, but it just didn't fit. It didn't make no sense why Star Fox was doing that. And I liked the blue fox that I can't think of her name right now. The other character they introduced into the game. And
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal. To me, it was just a good game, and I never really fully beat it. It was hard as crap. I remember going underground, and it was this stage where they shot a lot of fire at you, if I'm not mistaken. These characters blew fire. It was some nice graphics and nice elements going on in Star Fox Adventures that even Zelda didn't do. And that's what I remember. And even though I think Ocarina of Time was better, if that game probably had been what it was supposed to be, it probably would have rivaled and gave Ocarina of Time. Maybe not beat Ocarina of Time, because that's the game of all games, in my opinion. But it wouldn't have paled in comparison. That's how I feel about it.
But you said something earlier, and I was going to say this. You said that people were upset because they shoehorned. Well, we all said that they shoehorned Star Fox into that Dinosaur Planet game. And you know what's funny? I was sitting there thinking, I was like, this is the same conversation that we're having today with with Star Fox Zero. It was like they shoehorned the gamepad into Star Fox and ruined another Star Fox game. Yep. Come on, Nintendo, what you doing, man? Give us a Star Fox.
You know, it's kind of funny when we were talking about this. I remember the video that Arlo did about Star Fox Zero, which was hilarious. He was saying that our Star Fox Zero was the game that we should have got on the GameCube, and he's right.
Right.
You know, if you took the motion control out of it and you put the game as it is on the GameCube, it would, that would have been a monster.
Let me ask you this, and I'm just gonna go game for game. If it got a game that compares to it, I'm gonna line them up. They're from Rare to Nintendo. The original Donkey Kong countries to the modern Donkey Kong. I think Rare did it better than Retro.
I agree. I mean, the retro games look amazing, but you know, there was a charm factor that the Rare games have that the retro games don't.
Right.
And it's, you know, it's not like they're not good games. They're not trying. It's just that magic isn't there. It's kind of like how Killer Instinct is on the Xbox One.
True.
Killer Instinct just doesn't have that magic that it had when it was on Nintendo consoles, because it was something that originated for Nintendo consoles. It had the Nintendo flavor about it, and now that it's on the Xbox One, it started off okay, but now it's going way away from the core element of what Killer Instinct is, and what's happening in the storylines make absolutely no sense at all, and it's just like somebody just get rid of it, stop it. Just
it's like they took Street Fighters and Killer Instinct had a baby, and that's what it is now. It got some of the original Killer Instinct.
Mortal Kombat came in for a one night stand.
Yeah. It's weird. You're right, D2K. It don't have the appeal. It don't have the flair. It don't have the feel of the original Killer Instinct. Like when I play with DJ Combo on the Xbox, it feels nothing like the original. And the music don't even compare to the original music.
Well, I
don't think so.
I think that as far as the music that Mick Gordon did, he did an excellent job. That's the one thing that I say that they actually did very well, was the music. Because the music in some of the music, not all of them, but some of the tracks really feel like the same type of, techno house type tracks, and a little bit of classical mixed in, a little bit of hip hop mixed in here and there. It really does. But as they get further and further away from the core element, it doesn't feel like it belongs at all.
I guess the nostalgia playing a part into it too.
That's what I was going to say.
Nostalgia is playing a part, but Keith, while nostalgia is playing a part, I'm gonna be honest. Killer Instinct on Xbox is good. It's hard as heck. I don't understand how anybody can play it without busting their TV and breaking all the controllers around them. But it is good for what it is. It's just, to me, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how D2K feels about this, but sometimes I just feel like they made this too complicated.
Well, I mean, I don't need to know what the LDL and the CDC of my character after the post match is over. I mean, they got your blood type, they got your DNA codes, and I'm like, I don't need to know all this information. Just tell me that I won and show a cinema display and get to the next match. That's all I need.
Have you beat it yet? Have you beat Killer Instinct on the Xbox One yet?
I mean, I've played through what they call an arcade mode, what's supposed to be arcade mode on there, but it's it's like all fighting games today, is that they don't want to give you the default aspect of a fighting game. They want to give you everything else that you didn't ask for, but take a character and go through all the characters and fight the boss at the end. Nobody wants to give you that anymore. They want to make you jump through all these stupid hoops. But I've played it enough. I've played it enough.
I haven't beat it. I'm be honest here. I can't, and I used to go through the original Killer Instincts. Not the first one was hard as heck. Gold was hard, but I can beat Gold, especially if I had Tusk, which they just ruined him in this one. I can't stand Tusk in the new one. But I like the new one. Nia said we just nostalgia. We just letting our nostalgia get the best of it. I don't agree, Nia. I do feel like Gold was better. I feel like Gold and the arcade version of Gold was better to me than this modern. This one looks better. Yeah, this probably plays a little bit better, but pound for pound, give me Gold over this one.
For people who didn't experience Killer Instinct as it was in captivity like we did, if they play Killer Instinct now, they would think it was a pretty nice game to play. They wouldn't have any problems with it. But for us, we know how good it used to be and how it was almost perfect in every aspect. I mean, the music was perfect. The characters, it had the right amount of cheese before it went over the edge of being corny. It had the right amount of 90s cheese to it. It had a very tongue-in-cheek aspect to it, but they took the character design seriously, the graphics seriously, the sound, not the music, just the sounds. When you walked into our arcade, you heard Killer Instinct over everything else. I mean, when Saberwolf was walking across the floor on his board, you know,
I remember when Killer Instinct shut down. I think it was Mortal Kombat 4. I think Killer Instinct shut down our arcade. You had Mortal Kombat 4, which when it went to the like 3D, 2D, 3D type of setting, and I think you had the Tekken. I think it was Tekken Tag at the time. And Killer Instinct shut all of them down. Everybody was at the Killer Instinct watching that rare logo pull up, and you see Hawk, T-Hawk, and whoever else. Or was it T-Hawk or was it
Chief Thunder?
Yeah, Chief Thunder. He holds that's Street Fighters. I had to stop myself, but he holds those two axes up and the thunder is shaking, and then you see Jago and all them. Yeah, man, and we was all on that. And for a long time, I'll be honest, at the arcade, I didn't even know that was a Nintendo game. Until it showed up on the Super NES, I did not believe that game would come.
So you must didn't listen to the intro of the game.
I saw the Nintendo logo. I just did not believe it would come to the Super NES. I don't know what.
Okay. I see what you're saying. You didn't think
I didn't believe it would come to the
Super NES. Because it said coming to your in 1995 on your Nintendo Ultra 64. Liars. But I mean, there was no reason to believe it was going to come to the SNES, but when they said it was going to, I was super happy. And then you got to have you not only got this 16-bit game with rendered characters, but you also got to have the killer cutscene with the game. And I remember I was working at Best Buy at the time, and I had to close, and I put that in-store play, and I blasted through the whole store like every single night I had to work because I was feeling so hard over Killer Instinct. And like the actual the promotional poster board of Fulgore, when he's like his eyes glow. I had that. I got to take that home and kept it in my room for years. So
okay,
I tried to master Fulgore, and I'm listening to y'all fanboy over this right now. You're letting y'all nostalgia.
Man, I was a Killer Instinct. I was hurt when that game went over to Microsoft. I literally hurt my soul when I heard that they was bringing that to the Xbox. That's one of the reasons I bought the Xbox One, because I had to get Killer Instinct.
And that's the reason why a lot of people that were turned off got their attention. Like, what? Killer Instinct's coming back? Oh, okay. Let me see what this Xbox One talking about.
But the way they did it, I think that's what really killed that game. Putting those locking those characters behind the DLC.
Oh yeah, that did.
And then adding in characters like the Arbiter and not even the Arbiter from Halo 2, but an Arbiter in that game.
Right.
It's not even
and messing up Tusk, man. That was one of my favorite characters. He got a shirt tied around his hip. That ain't Tusk. Tusk is a barbarian, man. Oh my God. What did they do to Tusk? It's like, I don't know, man.
She Tusk.
I don't know what he is, man. He ain't Tusk in my book. But anyway, let's go to some more games, because I think Mario 64 or the original Banjo-Kazooie. Which one was better?
Oh, Mario 64.
Mario 64.
I agree. But are you telling me there wasn't aspects about Banjo-Kazooie that you like better than Mario 64?
No.
Yeah.
I hated that game.
I can't even try to play devil's advocate with this one, man. This is.
I used to love Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie sucked. I can't stand that game. I can't stand people going around. I don't got time for that. And then what's up with the ice key? What is up with the freaking ice key? Why is it there?
Yeah, but I will say this: there was aspects about Banjo-Kazooie that I did like over Mario. It was not better than Mario 64. I will never say that. That's blasphemous. But there were some key elements in Banjo-Kazooie that I liked better than Mario.
Nope.
I thought the stages were bigger. Some of the villains were more intriguing.
Nope.
You didn't think so? I did. I like some of the elements, like the character with the skull that you had to go in and talk to get certain items from. I like the whole back and forth between Banjo and Kazooie, how you can fly, then you had to run, and I liked all that. It wasn't better than Mario, but it wasn't no. To me, it wasn't a bad game. I think it was a good game, actually. Well, it was up there with some of the best stuff that was on the N64, in my opinion.
Well, it wasn't a bad game. It was just I hated it. I mean, there's lots of games that did great, but I still can't stand them. You know.
Nintendo Nia said D2K is not having it. Look.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
No, stop it. I don't want to hear that, Keith. I'm not letting y'all ruin it. My memory of Banjo-Kazooie is a great game, man.
I'm going to ruin it right. I'm going to ruin it right here. What's the game that just came out? Ukulele. People were like, "Oh, this game isn't as good as what we remember." You want to know why? Because those games weren't good either. That's why they weren't as good as you remember. They all sucked. The only one that was good, and Cornelia said it, is Conker. The only game
Conker was good. Yes, Conker was good, but Conker to me played like Banjo. It was just Banjo, cussing, and raunchy.
Hey, it is what it is.
So no, I can't let y'all. If you're gonna say Conker was good, all Conker was Banjo's evil, sadistic cousin in his own game.
I never played Banjo, so I can't really speak on that. But I know a lot of people enjoyed it.
I enjoyed Banjo. It wasn't Mario, but it was definitely. I would love to see Banjo redone, the real Banjo, not this whole whatever it is from the I guess the spiritual successor with what is that game? Ukulele. No, I haven't played it. But no, that don't even. I don't feel like that game. Looking at it now, I don't feel like that's Banjo-Kazooie. No, I will not do that. I can't let y'all take my joy away. My nostalgia. It says it's good. It's good to me. Nope. All right. So, to me, GoldenEye, like you said, Keith. D2K, it set the standard for FPS. So I think because to me, GoldenEye is one of the few, if not the only first-person shooter outside of Metroid Prime that I can play. And my memory of that still is crazy. It's still crazy in my head how that game played. I remember being down in the cellar locked up. You got to use your watch to get out of the little jail cell they got you in, and then you shoot the dude in the hand, and he actually shakes his hand, or you shoot him in his leg, and he actually responds to a leg shot. Like that. This is back on the 64, and that stuff was happening, man. So what can we compare that to? I don't think Nintendo first party got a first person shooter that we could compare that to.
Pokemon Snap. I'm just saying.
So the only thing that you can really compare it to is, like I said, is the multiplayer in Star Fox 64, which wasn't bad. It was okay. It was fun. We had a lot of people, but it wasn't anything that was on par with what Rare was doing, obviously.
Yeah.
So what else? What else Rare have? What else Rare have?
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Mario Kart 64 versus Diddy Kong. Let's do it.
That's a tough one.
Mario Kart.
That's a tough one.
Are y'all telling me y'all like Diddy Kong racing over Mario Kart?
I'm saying that it's not a conclusive yes or no one way or another. I think that's a tougher call. That one is debatable because they both were completely different racing games and they have their own flavor to them. Obviously, if you're looking at that game, Diddy Kong Racing versus Mario 64, and compare those two games with taking all of your experience from all the other Mario Karts out of the question, I think those games are very comparable.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play much of Diddy Kong Racing. I played a little bit of, especially the flying part, and I always felt like the flying part didn't work that great. But that's my memory. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But my memory, I never liked the aspect where you was actually flying, and it never felt right to me.
I love the flying on Diddy Kong Racing. I love the. I mean, I would say that the actual mechanics were not very good. They were very, very, very sluggish. Like it would take so long to turn one way or another. You know, like you try to turn right, it takes you an hour to turn this way, to turn that way. You know, if you hit a wall, then it takes you about 5 seconds to get yourself collected.
Right, yeah.
You know, but I love the feeling of flying through a level. I just think it was poorly executed.
What? I'm seeing people actually like Diddy Kong Racing more than more. This is messing me up. I can't believe this.
It's the variety. It's the variety of things that you can do. Like Mia said, the adventure mode. It was just so much more stuff that you can do. It's like I can play Mario Kart 64, and I got all this other stuff in Diddy Kong. So it was just a variety of stuff.
He had a whole lot more boards, than in Mario 64.
Mario 64. I will say Mario 64 was probably the weaker of the Mario Karts, in my opinion. But I still, my memory, sir, if my memory is right, I still enjoy Mario Kart more than Diddy Kong Racing. Maybe I just didn't play enough. Maybe I was biased and didn't want to like Diddy Kong Racing.
I mean, like even the multiplayer, like it wasn't just racing against each other or just shooting each other with weapons. You actually had the one where you have to collect the eggs and put them in your nest. You could steal eggs from other people's nests and put them in your own nest. You had there's another one. You had different ones. You had to collect coins and steal coins from other people and put them in your tower. I mean, they had different types of multiplayer matches that you would face on each level that they had. So it was so much to do, and it was semi sandbox to where, I mean, you can explore what you want to do, but you can go. It was not super linear. You can go over here, you can go over there. It was more open than Mario Kart was.
Yeah, see, this is when I worked at Blockbuster Video, man, and I used to rent games for free. And at this time, I didn't own Diddy Kong Racing, nor did I own Donkey Kong. What was it? 64. I played it, and I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like Donkey Kong 64 at all. Now
I didn't either.
I didn't like that at all. But Diddy Kong Racing, I don't think I played it enough to give it a fair shake. I'm still not willing to say it's better than 64. But because I didn't really for real play it enough to give it a fair shake, I'm gonna have to concede and go off of what y'all saying. I'm shocked that so many people are saying this game was better than 64. Mario Kart 64. This is shocking to me. This is really blowing me away. I wasn't expecting that. It has, man. I was not expecting that because my memory of it was I never felt like the actual kart racing was better than 64. I didn't like the flying, and what D2K said, when you hit the wall and stuff, it did take a long time to course correct and all that. But I never got off into the other aspects of it. And at that time, with No Mercy and WCW versus NWO,
start on the rest.
I would take it out and be back on something like that. So, but anyway, so let's continue. Jet Force Gemini. This is another game that a lot of people have a lot of fun memories of. That I only played a little bit of this game, and I don't think I truly appreciated or played enough to get an understanding of what it wanted and what it was going on in it. I'll be honest, what I thought the game was about, and when I actually started playing it and you shooting bugs and stuff, it kind of made me upset because I thought with weapons like that we was gonna be shooting something else, and that kind of made me upset, and I kind of wrote the game off. So I'll be honest, I didn't give it its fair shake either. So did any of you play Jet Force Gemini?
Yeah, I played it, never beat it. I remember getting the Nintendo Power magazines and all the other magazines around that time. And I remember just waiting to get this game. I was like, man, I can't wait to get this game. And I rented it from Blockbuster, ironically. I rented it from Blockbuster, and just something about it wouldn't work. It didn't click for me. I don't know what it was. I was like, I'm not gonna play through this. And I think around this time, I think Dreamcast had already came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the graphics on Jet Force Gemini was just so muddy, and I was like, I can't do this.
It was an ugly game in part.
It felt very underwhelming to me when I first played it. That's
what
one
was
of the
it,
things I pushed
240p?
right away. Yeah.
So I guess D2K, you got more to add to that, or
Yeah, I only played a little bit of it. I think I played some. I think I like rented it from like a not Blockbuster, but like a Planet Video or something like that. 'Cause, that's where I was going to get my games because I got a lot of import N64 games at that particular store. But it was just like you just said, that was around the time that the Dreamcast was coming out, or if I didn't get one till a year or so later, but I'd seen it and I had played it over friends' houses, and then I come back to look at this and like, no, thank you. I'm over this type of stuff now. There wasn't enough in the gameplay to hold me, and the graphics didn't look all that great. It didn't even look as good as previous Rare games. So it was an interesting concept that could have went somewhere if they put some more polish on it. Probably something they probably should have been they should have just waited and put more polish on it and had that be a launch title for the GameCube. But it is what it is.
I would love to see them. I was gonna say I would love to see Microsoft bring that game back the way they brought back Conquer Live and Reloaded. Because if you compare Conquer Live and Reloaded to the original, it's worlds difference. And like I think Jet Force Gemini still got some juice, but I just think it was just so underwhelming on the 64 that it just never got that love that it deserved, like D2K said.
It's funny, man, that now that we've been talking about these games, and as I think about it, and I start thinking about actual Nintendo first-party offerings, is making me backtrack on how close Rare was actually to Nintendo. And I will say this, D2K, you made a funny point when you talked about the Dreamcast. At this time, I was crazy. Like if you think folks in the comment section in different places are drones or slaves for Nintendo, that's when my mind, it was Nintendo or nothing. And I remember walking into Toys R Us, and they had a whole bunch of Dreamcast booths set up to where you can play Sonic, and you got the chance to do the part where he's running, and I think it's the killer whale begins to break up the bridge you're running on.
Mm-hmm. That still looks amazing to me.
Yeah, it does. You want to know what, man? I'm gonna try to be as transparent as I can as a Nintendo fan. I think I cried inside as a Nintendo. I literally cried. It's like I felt my heart sink. I was like, it's over. Dreamcast is won. It's time to turn in my Nintendo card. It's nothing. This thing is done. It's done. When I played that, I literally lost my mind inside. I couldn't even show my hurt. Like I couldn't even be happy because I was so hurt that it was that good to me, even though the game eventually didn't turn out to be, that part was good, but the whole game was it was all right. But then I saw Soul Calibur, and that was it. It was like I went and bought the Dreamcast with my first check. That week's check, I spent my whole check on the Dreamcast. I was one of the first ones in my camp that had the Dreamcast. But yeah, I did. I looked at the game. I was like, Nintendo, y'all lost. It's over. Just let it go. But anyway, thinking about it now, I'm having the backpedal on this. When I think about Wave Race, when I think about Mario 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Smash Brothers, what's some other first-party Nintendo games at that time?
I got it over here. Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64. You said
Star Fox. Yeah,
Yoshi's Story, Pokemon.
Did you say Smash Bros?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I said Smash Bros. Yeah.
F-Zero X.
How did I forget about Star Fox with the Rumble Pack? Man.
Right.
Actually, I wasn't even working at Blockbuster then. I walked in and they had a kiosk up with the Rumble Pack on to letting you play, and that done it for me. Go ahead.
Kennedy Snowboarding.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Dabuso no Moro or Animal Crossing. Pokemon Stadium. I actually did enjoy the Pokemon Stadium games.
Pokemon Snap.
No, Stadium.
No, but they had Snap too.
Anyway,
let's not talk about that.
Oh, is that what it's called? Pokemon Stadium? I thought it was Pokemon
Snap. We're purposely ignoring that. Okay, continue, Keith.
It was big in my town, but I don't know what y'all talking about. I never played it.
I'm finna say something weird, and this list could be wrong, but that's it. Nintendo has like 15 games that developed from Nintendo on here.
No, there was. Well, I mean, as far as in-house, I mean, they had like second-party studios. I mean, you had like Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire from, I think, Factor 5 did that. Yeah, Factor 5.
Does that count though? Can we count that?
Well, if it's a
we can talk about Nintendo first party. Just
okay. So this first party, then,
They don't have about 15 games.
Mario Party series. That's what.
Was it on there? I didn't see it.
Said Mario Party series is not first party. Well, Phoenix just corrected you, Cornelius. That's not first party. Don't be having us putting up fake, false news up here, man. That ain't true. So
Mario Party not first party?
Nah, not well. Phoenix Star 5000 said no.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's not made by first party, so I guess they outsourced that. So, I guess looking back on it, no, Rare did not out Nintendo. Outside of GoldenEye, I would say GoldenEye. I like Banjo-Kazooie. Y'all like Diddy Kong Racing. I do feel like the original DK country games were better than the modern ones. I feel like maybe it's nostalgia again in all others, but I do feel like it had a charm. Even though, of course, the game is going to be better now technically, and because they got that to play off of and add all the new stuff with the power that these systems can do. But you just take pound for pound what both did for their era. I think the originals were better. I really do. I think they were better. I have more fun memories with the originals than the current ones. I think it wore off just as fast as it came in for me. I didn't want Tropical Freeze. I liked it, but they could have kept Tropical Freeze. Wasn't a bad game, but to me, it didn't do nothing more than Donkey Kong Country Return. Maybe a few things were better, but I didn't care about the game. I've said that then. I know a lot of people love that game. It was forgettable for me. Cranky Kong didn't do it for me. I'm sorry, Cranky Kong.
You know what? I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the list. I am amazed how few in-house first-party titles came from Nintendo on the N64. I mean, it is a really small list.
About 15.
Yeah. Nintendo had a lot of third-party titles on the N64. People don't really want to give it credit, but
they had a lot of titles that people slept on. Especially they had a lot of fighting games.
Right, that sword game. I forgot what the name of the game was.
You have Mace Dark Ages, Dark Rift.
Mace Dark Ages was I'm talking about. That's one where you fought with what was it? Executioner and
yeah. And then there was the Fighter's Destiny.
Yeah,
that was a good one. There was a lot of fighting games on there.
I'm gonna bring up something that I think we should get a remake of, and that's Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. We need a remake. I don't know if anybody played them. I don't know if anybody enjoyed them.
I never had a fun memory of them.
They were good to me.
They were stiff. They were stiff to me
because they were built on the PlayStation. I mean, hey, but
okay.
I would love to see those games come back.
So yeah, man. I guess from my end, I'm gonna say, no, Nintendo still reigns supreme over Rare.
I'm not going to say they reign supreme. I'm going to say that Rare didn't outdo them. They didn't do what Nintendo does better than them.
Yeah, but if you look at game for game, how we just broke it down, Jet Force Gemini.
We kept giving the W to rare games.
Where did we give that? Only one we gave a W to that I remember was Diddy Kong Racing. You said no on Banjo-Kazooie. We said no on what was the other game we compared to something from Nintendo? Star Fox and Zelda. We said it was Zelda. Y'all said Mario 64.
Wait. You comparing Star Fox Adventures to Zelda?
Yeah, it was a Zelda-like game.
That was GameCube.
I had to.
I don't.
Are we throwing GameCube? Well, it's only like a few of them, so I guess.
Yeah, that's a GameCube game.
That's a game where you can Twilight Princess. We not gonna say it was Twilight Princess or Ocarina or Wind Waker. Neither one of them was better than those.
Wind Waker is just supreme.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So when you start looking at the games, and then you start looking at what Nintendo had, yeah, I think it's. I don't think it was close. I don't think.
But if you look, like we were saying, if you look at the games that were revolutionary, you had Mario 60. You had Mario 64, that was revolutionary in terms of analog control, and then you had Zelda. I'm talking about like the first party Nintendo.
Okay.
You had Zelda Ocarina of Time from a certain standpoint of that type of. I don't even know what kind of category you put Zelda into. It's
open world
action adventure.
I would say action adventure. I mean, it was kind of open world-ish, but it still had some linear elements to it, especially in dungeons. So it wasn't completely sandbox and open world. But we saw how with GoldenEye and Killer Instinct and Diddy Kong Racing and other rare games that did a lot of things that helped show Nintendo's the power of the N64 better than Nintendo did. I mean, if you think, as a matter of fact, I think the rare games were some of the first games, if not the first games, that actually took advantage of the expansion memory pack on the N64.
That's true. It
was Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. I would say
another one.
Looking at the Super NES, N64, the GameCube, GoldenEye was just as popular on the 64 as Mario and Ocarina of Time. So yeah, you're right. And then Killer Instinct Gold was just as popular. It was one of the first games on the N64 that was big alongside not N64, on N64 alongside Mario 64. And then, but on the GameCube, Rare really didn't have nothing that really stood out outside.
No, because we were wrapping things up at that point.
Yeah, they got sold off by that. Perfect Dark, but that was 64 too. So yeah, I guess if you go to certain genres, yeah, Rare outshine Nintendo because Nintendo didn't have nothing in that genre. Like,
but that's the
Perfect
point.
Dark and GoldenEye.
Like you said, that's the whole thing. Is that Nintendo didn't have fighting games, they didn't have wrestling games, they didn't have all this other stuff. They could have, but because they own Rare, they said, why bother? But if we're gonna say who had more, you kind of have to lean towards Rare.
Yeah, Nintendo needs who is it they got? Retro to step up and be that Rare.
I'm done with them. I'm so done with Retro.
I'm ready to see what they got. They even show what they got. I don't want to talk about.
No, it's too late. No, it's too late. They're done.
But let me ask you this.
Nope.
What if just think about it? What if Rare was still a part of Nintendo as a second party studio? What would that make the Switch look like if they was producing those games now for the Switch?
Well, we got to go back in time. The GameCube would have sold more. The Wii U probably not Wii U. The Wii U probably would have sold more.
The Wii would have sold even more than it did.
The Wii would have went through the roof. And the Switch, I mean, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people are excited about the success of the Switch, and that's fine. That's good because we need all the consoles to be successful because that keeps all the companies in check, and they can't rest in their laurels and think it's sweet. They have to keep giving us good quality product because if they sleep on it, somebody else might overtake the position. So the Switch doing well is good. But a lot of reasons why the Switch is doing so well is that you had within a 5-month block, you had all these major first-party IPs dropping back to back to back to back to back. That's not something that's going to happen all the time. This is a kind of a unique situation for the Switch. And there's going to be a period of time where you're not going to see a whole lot from Nintendo on the Switch. That is a place where Rare would fit in perfectly because they can bridge the gap between Nintendo's major first-party IPs and it wouldn't be any droughts. And I think if they had Rare, then the droughts that the Wii U had may not have happened.
Could you imagine Killer Instinct, this current one, on Nintendo instead of Xbox? That like Killer Instinct was brought back and it came to the Wii U, now to the Switch. Like
it would have been a game changer because
it would have been a complete game too.
Yeah, it would have been a complete game. It would have been a game changer. I mean, how many times? I mean, for how long were we waiting to hear those words, Killer Instinct 3? I mean, we saw so many leaks and teases here and there. Oh, they might be working on this. They might be working on it. You know, and if we actually went to an E3 and they actually did the same thing that Microsoft did, but this is for a Nintendo console, Killer Instinct 3. People were like, I'm buying 3, 4, 5 of them consoles. I don't care what it is. I'm getting all the mugs to play Killer Instinct 3. You know, that's something because it has the history. Its connection is there to Nintendo. But with Microsoft, the connection is broken. You can't marry the two because it's a different company. It doesn't feel right.
Right. It's sort of like Banjo-Kazooie when they tried to do that nuts and bolts. It just didn't resonate. It felt like Banjo was out of his element and on the wrong platform. It'd be like Mario showing up over there. It just wouldn't feel right. And I don't know why Nintendo sold Rare. Never have dove into the whys. They sold it, and you know, I don't know if y'all know why they sold it.
The relationship got sour, and I think a lot of the people who were key figures in Rare were leaving. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they sold them. But let me ask you this. Let me throw this out there, and I got you, Nia. I got you. What if who was it? Retro hasn't been doing anything or showing anything because of what D2K just said. We got the next year, 2018, when he said we don't think those other games. We'll see games like this every month after month after month. What if Retro's been working on a bunch of games that's going to fill those voids?
I've played the What If game long enough with these characters. I've been playing the What If game with them since 2013. I'm done. There's no reason for you to be this quiet about what you're developing on for this long.
But what if they're not working on one game, but multiple games?
We could have seen something by now. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 isn't anywhere close to being done, and at least they get us the animated GIF at E3.
It gave us, the fun. But,
they at least did that.
I would say this. I ain't ready. I'm not personally ready to write all. I want to see what Retro has. I would say I agree with D2K on the fact that it has been long enough to where we should either be getting some type of sit downs, and that's what I miss Iwata for. Iwata will sit down with these studios and ask them questions and kind of give us something that we can kind of sit back and eat on until the actual stuff come out, like they did with Bayonetta and like they did with, I think, Yoshi, Woolly World and all that. He would sit down with them studios and basically probe their mind on their ideas and why they did this and the concepts. I miss that. And I would love for that to happen with Retro Studios, to let us see something. Like, we heard all this stuff. They were supposedly working on an engine that they showed to this company and showed to that company. And they also bought a lot of people who worked on other games on other studios. I think some people from the Uncharted group came over and they work for Retro now. And they supposedly have enough of a team to work on 2 games now. So we haven't seen anything since Tropical Freeze and Crappy Kong. It's like, dude, it's been a while, man. Can we can we see something? And we know you're not working on Metroid Prime, so what are you working on? We would love to see it. So I am ready to see.
I'm not going to be so obtuse to believe that when they do eventually announce what they're working on someday, that people won't be excited about it, because all this negativity that people feel about them, and they're deservedly so, will wash away. Especially if it's a game that people want, like an F-Zero or something else that people have been waiting for a long time. If they said that we've been working on F-Zero and Wave Race all this time, and Wave Race looks amazing, and it plays just as good as the original, and F-Zero looks amazing. And
don't do me like that.
I mean, let's just say that they're working those.
Don't you say it plays like the originals. If it played like the original Wave Race, y'all won't see me on the podcast, because that's all I'll be playing. There is no other game far as racing that I play more than Wave Race. Like, that's my game. I love that game. So.
Well, I mean, if they were working on both those games, then and they looked amazing, they played amazing, people would forget all this other stuff that's been going on, and they would say, well, I guess it was worth it to wait all that time, because look how long it took for them to make Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if they're giving a Nintendo IP that type of treatment, then that would excuse the silence. Or I shouldn't say excuse the silence, but it would excuse the long pause between Tropical Freeze and now. It doesn't excuse the silence. There's no reason why you can't give us a screenshot, or just like, remember when they first announced that Bayonetta 2 was coming to the Wii U? They had not started anything but other than preliminary sketches and stuff. That was enough to say that this game is happening, it's coming. It got people hyped and excited about the future of the Wii U. That's all you got to do.
I believe, honestly though, with them bringing out not Twilight Princess, but Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, and Mario Odyssey all within this year from Nintendo. I believe, and maybe I might be hoping more than believing. I believe we're going to see something retro-wise later this year, early next year, because Nintendo, there's a lot of games from Nintendo's other studios in the first year of the Switch, to where I don't believe outside of Metroid Prime 4, we'll probably see that next year. Then the other stuff they had to show would have to be second party stuff. It had to be something like a Platinum Games offering our retro studio. It got to be. I can't see retro going another year and not having anything to show for it. I just can't see that.
Well, they can't. They have, because we know that Nintendo, they don't half step when it comes to game development. It's all hands on deck. They pool all their resources, and they will take their time to make sure the game is done right. This is why you don't see, bugs and things in Nintendo games, because they have the most anal retentive quality control process in all of gaming. I know this for a fact. You have to test the game over and over. It costs $90,000 just for the quality assurance process of developing the game for Nintendo. At least it used to. Might be more than that now. So it is a really, really strenuous process before they get a game finished. So I can't see, they're going to have other people fill in the blanks. They're going to have to do like we were talking about on the last podcast, is that allow these indie developers and stuff to, just throw a whole bunch of little bits and pieces on the Switch just to be filler.
Yeah. So, I'm reading down the comment section. Nia, you can't don't hurt our feelings, Nia. We want a Wave Race and F-Zero, and Wave Race, I believe F-Zero has a chance with Fast Racing RMX being out there, and then Wipeout coming back out, another game.
That Red Out game that's coming to the Switch as well.
I believe F-Zero has a chance of making a return.
Why do you need those games?
What's that?
Why do you need it if those games exist?
Because
it's F-Zero. It's better, So
that's like saying that. Why do you need Zelda if you got Horizon Zero Dawn on?
Well, that's not on the same console.
Yeah, but they don't.
But those are third party games,
Yeah.
or second party games. But this is Nintendo's game, and even if it's the same genre, your first party titles, if you're Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, is supposed to be better than anybody else's effort in the same genre.
But why would I put, and it's just me playing devil's advocate here, but why would I put forth the money and the resources for a game that's so similar where I can do something else?
How many people have you known?
I'm just saying.
I mean, have you been a Nintendo fan very long?
What I'm saying is, that's
people
like,
have been screaming for not Star. What that? Well,
yeah, they have
that too. But for F-Zero for years.
I mean, yeah, F-Zero.
I know they have. Trust me.
I believe F-Zero has a strong chance of making a reappearance. Now, Wave Race, that could be true. Nia might be right on that. And others who might agree. I'm just hoping that they would do another Wave Race, because Blue Ocean Storm was not a Wave Race game to me. That was just some garbage.
Wave Race was something that virtually was not even done before. I can't think of any jet ski games or any other consoles. There could have been, but it really wasn't something that was there. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. But Wave Race just a whole lot. They just completely turned everything around.
Wave Race.
They gave you something completely different. That game, the physics of that game were so good that even though Rumble Pack had not come out until like a year or so later, when you would hit things, it felt like there was a rumble, even though there wasn't, because the physics were so good.
Well, it didn't have rumble. Yeah, it didn't have rumble. It didn't have rumble features.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. Think about if they were to do a new Wave Race with the HD rumble, and you're going back and forth, and you feeling the water. Like if you, what's that game with the Blaster Master? When you dip in the water on the game right now, it feels like you submerge yourself in water. Believe it or not, try it for yourself. Imagine if they brought back Wave Race on the Switch, and you playing and you going like left and right, and you can feel it like that. However they do it, I don't know what they do. It's magic, Nintendo magic, and you feel that rumble in the controller. I think that'd be amazing.
And that's one of the things that's missing from the Switch is games that really show the reason why I'm paying an extra $80 for the Switch for this HD rumble and the Joy-Cons. That's a perfect game to show you why, because you can actually feel the waves literally while you're playing Wave Race. It's not just a rumble when you collide with something. You actually can feel like you're actually out in the water and give people an experience. Casuals that don't, that still have not made up their mind to buy a Switch, you come out and let them play Wave Race, and they're like, whoa, this is cool. That's the type of thing that happens that sells consoles. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a packing game. It could be a game that came out later. If you look at games like Nintendogs and Brain Age, they weren't launch games with the DS, but they sold millions of them.
Yeah. I was going to say, I bought Wave Race on the Wii U, and I haven't played it in a while, but that game still plays and feels, the physics on that game still feel good to this day. And that, I mean, it doesn't look good. The looks didn't carry over, but the feel of the game, it still feels very good for a game that old. That's what, 20 years old almost. So I mean, like, I agree. You don't see a lot of jet skis and all that stuff like, back in them days. So it might not relate to current gamers in this modern space we're in. So it might be more far-fetched for something like a Wave Race to show up out of nowhere. But F-Zero, I do think F-Zero will see the light of day. I don't know when, but I definitely believe Nintendo is going to bring F-Zero back. Because there's just too many signs pointing to that still having a space, because the genre still has a lot of games happening now in that space that I'm pretty sure Nintendo will want to get a piece of that pie. And why not bring back and play on our nostalgia, just like they did with Star Fox. Hopefully they don't add some stupid controls to it that ruins it. But
or they just take the controls out and put the game as is on the Switch.
Yeah, hopefully they do that, man, because I want to play Star Fox, but I'm not playing that garbage. I traded it in maybe 3 weeks after buying. I was like, forget this. Let me get as much as I can get out of this game, because this is going nowhere for me.
I definitely pick it up. They took the controls out like ASAP.
Yeah. ASAP. So let's move on, man. We about done. I'm gonna ask this last question. I was hoping that K-Bun could make it, but because that's why I put it into the topics. But I don't know how many of you saw this Hellblade game.
Oh yeah, I got it on my wish list.
So I've seen a few clips of it. The reviews are out. This look like it's doing okay. It's not. I think it's like at an 80 or something like that. But it does look like. Am I wrong to say this, man? It looks like Horizon. It looks like Uncharted. But I don't want to say that too fast. I don't know much about the game, so it's hard for me to make any judgments on it outside of just it looks good, but it looks like it. When I first saw it, it looked like Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not gonna lie, that's what it looked like to me. So, what do you think about the game, man? Before we get out of here, so from what you've seen,
it looks real good. And just a little history on it. It's an indie game with AAA AAA aspects or graphics or whatever.
This is an indie game.
It's an indie game. It's not a big studio. But they put the AAA not money, but AAA
polish.
AAA polish. There you go. They put the AAA polish on it. It's a psycho thriller. Like the girl, she has like voices all out through her head and talking to her and stuff like that. And it's crazy because I watched a few people live stream it, and if you put the headphones on and how they had the game playing, you could hear it. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. It's a little annoying.
I don't know about anything to do with that.
It's a little annoying, but it's a beautiful game.
I'm telling you now that these like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony and these third parties better get their stuff together, because some of these, indie developers are nipping at their heels. They really are. And a lot of people are going to start looking at these indie titles as a better alternative. A lot of these big titles are starting to become too bloated, first party and third party. We're so used to buying them. We buy them out of habit. We buy them because we feel predisposed to buy them, whether it's Call of Duty, whether it's Madden, whether it's 2K, whether it's Mario, whether it's, whatever it is. We feel like we're supposed to buy it. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever console you own, you just feel like there's certain things you're just supposed to buy because you have it. But we're looking at these indie developers coming out with these games that, look as good as what these AAA studios are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to develop. And you have to ask yourself, where are they spending their money on? Because the games still play like trash. And you have these indie studios that are developing games. They don't have nearly as much money, but they're giving you a better quality product in some aspects. They better get their stuff together.
The game looks ridiculous, man. The game looks ridiculous.
I'm looking at it right now, and the girl, she looks a lot like the girl from Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, she has her ponytail reminds me of her hair reminds me of her hair.
But it kind of seemed like it's blending a few games though. You got what's the game y'all talking about earlier?
It's I can see the Rise,
the God of War.
In there.
I don't really see Uncharted though, but I do see Horizon. Maybe a little.
Horizon is Uncharted. That's why I said Uncharted, because Horizon is like Uncharted to me. But that's me. But it looks. Just visually, the game looks ridiculous, man. If looks was it, and it's something that like you said, you got it on your possible purchase list. I'm keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, I'm
kind of brought it to my attention.
I'm gonna wait
this
for
gameplay reminds me a lot of Rise, Son of Rome. A lot. It's almost identical.
And a little bit of what's Demon Souls, Hellblade type of stuff. Not Hellblade. What's the game? Dark Souls.
Bloodborne. That's what Nia just said.
Well, we was basically saying. See, me and Nia, we be on the same page.
I'm not sure.
Bloodborne. I said Dark Souls. Same game.
Have y'all heard about this other game that's kind of like Dark Souls, made by Japanese developers?
Neo?
No, it's not Neo. It's a new game. It's like they saying it's the rip off of Dark Souls by Eastern developers. It looks just like Dark Souls. I'm gonna have to look that up at some point.
Wait, who makes Dark Souls? I thought it was Japanese.
No, well, they said it's the Eastern version of it. I don't know. I don't know who makes Dark Souls. Was it maybe not? Maybe it wasn't Dark Souls it's copying off of. Maybe man, let me table that because I can't remember exactly how it was put. But anyway, that's all I got for this podcast, man.
You don't want to bring up your 2K thing, the video you had earlier?
No.
You don't want to talk about it? Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody know who Devin Booker is, but they was doing the interview for NBA 2K18, and he had a Switch in his hand, and I thought it was pretty significant. And it's an older video. I guess I'm just now catching up, but I heard the video been out for about a month now, but or a few weeks now. But the fact that you didn't see a PlayStation, you didn't see an Xbox, you saw the Switch they was doing ratings of each character and asking each player and asking them to guess what their rating would be in the game. And when they got to Devin Booker, who plays for the Phoenix Suns, he had a Switch twirling around in his hands, and it kind of stood out to me like, wow, this dude has a Switch, and you know how people are when they see that, that might prompt them to be like, what is this thing? Let me look more into it. So I thought it was pretty cool, so I did a video on it. That was about it.
Yeah, I think Nintendo should definitely take advantage of that. If not Nintendo, 2K should take advantage of that. I mean, that's easy advertising, easy marketing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you really need in terms of the Switch version, because people are going to buy it for the other consoles regardless. But people need to understand that this game is available or going to be available for the Switch, because this is the first 2K that Nintendo has had since 2K13 as a launch title for the Wii U, which was horrible. But this is the first time that you've seen it in 5 years. So you need to let people know, like, hey, we got NBA 2K back on Nintendo consoles, huh? So you have to do something to advertise that, because if that's what I've been saying over and over before, is that these third parties don't make a lot of money on Nintendo consoles. Nintendo, you have to step up your game and advertise for these companies. Let people know that these companies that are actually putting their games on your console. We hear all this complaint that all this third party is not bringing this game. This third party is not bringing that game. This third party is bringing one of their flagship titles to your console. You need to be out in front of all of this, advertising this for your console.
Yeah, and let me give y'all a heads up. As far as the physical copy, from my understanding, it's going to be delayed, but the digital download, you can download it day and date with the other two versions, but the physical copy, because those what would you call them, Keith? What they put the games on, the little disc, the size won't be available, I think, at the time. So I think that's why they holding back on the physical version, but the digital version you can download day and date.
How big is this game?
I'm finna hold back my money then.
well, Nintendo only has the 32 gig cartridges out, and I think they're gonna have an even bigger one towards the end of this year. So they saying a lot. That's why a lot of these games have not been announced, because they're waiting for that particular cartridge to be released.
But don't you have the option of installing a portion of the game onto the flash memory?
Yeah,
I guess so.
I
can't get technical with y'all like that. I mean,
that's what a lot of these other companies do. So they don't come up with these big, huge 160 gig Blu-rays for their, Xbox and PlayStation. You install a portion of the game onto the console, then run the rest of it off of the disc. But I don't know. Hopefully Nintendo will figure this out. But this is one of the problems that we saw a long time ago. That could be rearing its ugly head about the lack of storage. Now you have to wait until this other company comes out with another cartridge that can fit your needs. Anything could happen to that company to where it gets delayed or something like that. Now you have to wait even longer. And what if there's another third party that wants to bring their game to the Switch that also has the same problem? Now they have to wait. And they might just say, you know what? Forget it. So that's...
like I said, I think it's. I don't know if they having a hard time manufacturing them or had a certain date that they was getting them out. But like I said, the bigger cartridges are coming later this year towards the fall season. So I think a lot of these third-party titles that we haven't got release dates for, we know about, but we don't know when they're releasing. And I think Dr. Trey did a video on this, is basically waiting for that particular cartridge. So, but they are releasing it digitally. If you want to buy it that way, you can get it. But the physical copy is not going to be day and date with the other two versions. So I'm gonna just wait for the physical copy. I don't want the digital. I'm trying to reserve all the space I can reserve on my Switch. But yeah.
So you really want to play that game on the Switch rather than your PlayStation 4?
I have it on
One or the PC.
I probably have it on my Xbox One for my son, but I'm gonna definitely buy it on the Switch for myself. Yeah, I want to buy it on the Switch. I will either have the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One version too, but I'm definitely gonna get the Switch version for myself, and one of them versions for my son. Most likely I might get that PlayStation 4 version and let them, because that way I can get it. Because I hate coming down here. I had to come. Well, when my kids get a little older, I'm gonna be back down here. But right now, a lot of my two systems are upstairs, and he mostly in my man cave now. I don't even get a chance to come down here no more. So he done took over the cave, man. Oh. I'm down here now looking at all my stuff. I ain't even heard the surround sound down here in about 4 or 5 months. I'm upstairs playing movies. I hate it. I have to tell my wife to get this. I'm done. I'm going back.
Microsoft finna take another L.
Why's that?
I'm on the Windows Store and they got a Fable Fortune game coming out. A Fable game is coming out, but it's a card game.
Dude, we not finna do it. We not finna talk about Microsoft, man.
Microsoft, take this L, man.
I was finna ask something else. I can't remember what I was finna ask, so I guess it ain't important. So is there anything else y'all want to discuss before we get out of here, or is that it? That's all I got.
Well, I mean, I thought that the last week's episode of Dragon Ball Super was ridiculous.
Good or bad?
Bad. This was probably the laziest episode I've ever seen, where they reuse animation segments over and over and over.
Yeah, I already knew that. I watched a video that kind of gave you a head up on the reused animation.
I mean, they literally made you sit there and watch this ridiculous transformation for the women from Universe 2, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And another thing that they're doing that is kind of getting annoying now. It was okay for little bits and pieces here and there, but it's starting to happen with more regularity. Is they keep borrowing from classic moments of Dragon Ball Z and redoing it over again. Because when these girls are transforming into their powered up forms, Android 17 shoots an energy blast and interrupts it. And that's the same type of thing that happened before when Trunks and Goten are about to fuse and Majin Buu ran over and fired on Trunks. So it was kind of funny, but I'm like, you guys keep doing this every single episode. Try to be original for once. Stop borrowing everything from Dragon Ball Z and come up with some new original stuff. And after that whole thing, they made you watch it, the whole thing all over again.
And I would say now that part was annoying. It was funny. It was quirky. It was goofy, but it did annoy me a little bit. Like, they not really finna do that whole routine again. So, yes, I think this is one of those filler episodes.
But
it didn't give you a lot. But
it's been, I shouldn't say it's a rumor, but I guess it's been confirmed that in not this coming episode, but the next episode, that they said that the Super Saiyan God form will return.
Yep.
Now,
Goku said in that last episode,
we don't know who it is for, because this episode that's coming up is about Gohan. So,
well, from the stuff that I've been watching, they alluding to it being Goku, but I mean, Gohan. I know Gohan. It says he can't hold back or he's in a situation of a decision where he ain't making up his mind of how he want to approach something. But when they say the God form, they show Goku. A lot of the ones I watched show.
Well, and that's what people are assuming that it's Goku because of what you see in the opening credits with him with that red key around him and stuff like that, which is similar to his initial Super Saiyan God transformation, but it's not exactly the same because his face did not look the same. His eyes were not red like they were, and he didn't have the same. It was more of a fuchsia red type color of his hair. It wasn't quite red. It was more a little bit of purple mixed in there. What they show at the beginning of the episodes now is pure red. What they show.
Yeah, they show. What I saw was they showed some Japanese promotion and candy that I don't know if you follow the same guy, the Onpai Senpai, whoever, however you say that.
No.
But they were looking at some promotional candy that comes out next year, but they already got it in like books and magazines over there, and it was Goku, and then behind the candy was the red, it was faint, you really couldn't see it fully, but Goku had a different form and different hair, and they blew it up to show you, so it was saying it was Goku, but like I said, I don't know.
Well, I think Goku has a new transformation coming. I don't think that when they're saying that Super Saiyan God is coming to episode 104, that it's going to be him. I think his transformation is going to be added to what he already has. I think that Gohan is about to ascend to Super Saiyan God status.
Okay. That'd be cool.
I think it's gonna be different for him because his powers kind of went in a different direction once he got his ultimate form unlocked by Supreme Kai. So I think it might look completely different. I mean, he might. I've seen pictures of him with white hair. Those were fan pictures, but they might go that direction.
He gonna have yellow highlights.
Okay. Well, we have to wait and see. We got 2 more days. We'll see what's going on, and then another week. So, but I think we come to an end. I'm ready to get something to eat. So I'm gonna let y'all say y'all final thoughts, starting with D2K.
I don't have any final thoughts. Just say
final words.
I'll just say see you guys later. Till next time.
All right. He said he don't like doing that. Anyway, Mr. Norris.
Yes, sir. What are we doing? No, I'm just kidding.
That's what John used to do. What are we doing?
Great podcast. Hey, I just downloaded Asphalt 8 mobile game. I'm going to play it on my PC and see if it takes advantage of the PC. But until next time, folks.
All right. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and make sure you click on that notification. That way you can keep up with us when we are going live, anytime we go live. This is your boy Levelhead. This was a Live and Level Gamers podcast. Till next time, folks, keep it gaming and deuces.